Hi, Pastor Zach here. The pandemic has been a challenging time for all of us. In different ways, we struggled with the limitations, the restrictions, the fears, and frustrations. As a church, we were challenged to hang in there with each other through alternate ways of connection, such as remote worship. As Christians, we were challenged to look for the light of God shining within the darkness of COVID. Recently, I caught up with some of our members to find out how they hung in there during those challenging and uncertain days.
Maybe the most important thing I learned is that, we really can get by with a whole lot less than we think we need. So that was probably my number one takeaway from it. Number two, I cleaned. I didn't clean like mopping and sweeping. I emptied closets. I reorganized. My takeaway from that is your soul just feels better when you get rid of some of the junk. I also think this was a time for a lot of people to get a grip on it's okay to slow down, do less, and relax, and really enjoy the things that you do versus just rushing from one thing to the next. And for me, there's a song that I love that's called Silver Linings, and I think about that song a lot. And I think the pandemic has huge silver linings. The issue with silver linings is you have to wait to figure out what they are.
I think one of the highlights that we were just discussing was, and church-wise, it was kind of nice a little bit to be able to worship in a casual setting just for a change of pace. And none of us had to dress up for that. Even services when you were doing it from your house was pretty casual, and not that there's anything wrong with dressing up and putting your best threads on, but it was nice to also do something different. It was a change of pace. Obviously, I know it was at the expense of people getting sick and unfortunately passing, but that part was nice. Definitely enjoyed the random music nights. That was one of my favorite nights, was when you would just take any shout of any hymn that we liked, any song in general, and listen to your wife sometimes give her a take on what you're saying. Get to call her commentary too.
Right.
Because we didn't go anywhere and my parents didn't, they came over to my house, and my daughter also came over because she didn't go anywhere either. So we have a sunroom, and so we could have church with the deer and the turkeys and the geese, and my dog Stella absolutely loved church. So that was our favorite place to have church.
Carol and I usually turned you on and sat in the living room in our love seat and had coffee and either donuts or coffee cake or whatever to kind of carry on the fellowship hall kind of thing, with our beverage and our donuts. So yeah, it was kind of a little ritual we did.
It was good. I mean, we, of course there's the technical troubles now and then. So, working through those and getting past those, we started out watching just on our cell phones, sometimes at the kitchen table when we were eating breakfast. And then, one would do the dishes, during the singing time. That's not really his thing. And I enjoy that. So I do that. And then we kind of learned how to use our Fire Stick. So then we got to see service on the big screen. So that was nice too, just to snuggle up with the blankets and the kids and watch it together on our big screen.
It was very nice and convenient. Even if I couldn't watch live, I could watch it on YouTube later on. I'm not aware of the church live recording anything prior to the pandemic. I think it was audio recorded, but
pretty much just the Facebook.
Yeah, but it was nice. Like I said, it was just nice to have another option. I try not to be too busy to watch you live, but sometimes things happen where at least I can see it, and when it was at a convenient time. So
During
Well, I giggle because, we live in a black hole. So I always sat in the kitchen at my breakfast bar because there's a window and a door. And I don't know whether it really works, but it does kind of seem to me that I had better reception there and that I would stay connected for a longer period of time.
Well, pretty much my family is just my brother, and I see him probably every other week or so. But Carol's family is in Florida, Wisconsin, North Carolina, and here. And it was very kind of neat because of the pandemic, we don't see one another often anyway, but we started a family Zoom. And we've carried on now with that family Zoom for over a year, and are continuing that family Zoom. And it's great because you don't get to see everybody that often, and now we're seeing one another, sharing news, joking, just having a good time, and it's been great. So.
I went through my cancer treatments at the height of the pandemic, and that's when we needed others the most, the prayers and everything else. And the church, I really saw God working in our church family and just messaging me, praying for me, whether it's through Zoom with Pastor Zach or with anyone else. So I really appreciated that, and I could feel it.
Kind of along the same thing. Amy's treatments, I think, even though she was doing all the physical work, emotionally was a train wreck on me. And I definitely felt other people's prayers, and it was just small signs that God was with me. Sometimes it would just be very small things at work. Something would happen. I can't reveal too much because of the job, but a lot of times it was definitely, though, there was God working during the pandemic. And it's not just like that during the pandemic as well. As my faith's gotten stronger, I can see that He talks more to me. Just I was never in tune and ready to listen. Now I'm ready to listen more, and I see it more.
I retired in 2020, so I had a shot at online learning, and so one of the things I'd ask my students was, what are your favorite parts of COVID and your least favorite? And of course the least favorite is they didn't get to see their friends, and some of them really missed their activities and everything. But on the opposite side, I saw God working because their families came closer together. They were so happy to have time to take walks with their family, or go to maybe Kennecott and take a hike, or play ball in the backyard, whereas before they really didn't have that much time to have family activities together. So that was wonderful, and just appreciating the little things in life. For me, I know now that I'm vaccinated, several stores you don't have to wear masks. I can talk to you and not have to wear a mask, and so I really appreciate not having to wear a mask all the time, and seeing people. I love my family, but I love people too, and so it's so nice just to be able to say hi. And I've had some people say, you know what, we're both vaccinated, give me a hug. Mm-hmm. So, missing hugging people is something that I've truly missed. So that's something that I appreciate even more now.
Well, for me, hearing the stories of the essential workers who gave, and it wasn't just the essential workers, it was people on the street, people who checked in on their neighbors, made sure that elderly were taken care of. The examples of kindness were just so abundant and ever flowing. And so much more. You know, during this time, we also had some horrible things that happened, but the kindness far outweighs the negative.
Usually didn't wear a tie, or usually maybe pajamas and or sweatsuit kind of scenario where we were very, very comfortable.
Well, my dressing up was, since my parents did come over, I just put sweatpants on and sweatshirts. So, but we would have coffee. We kind of had a little coffee bar, and my mom would bring food over. She loves to bake, or, you know, we'd have something. And so we just made it special that way. But so, yeah, my church clothes were not even my good sweatpants. Just sweats.